Caravaggio was a revolutionary Italian painter whose work profoundly shaped the Baroque era and continues to influence art to this day. Characterized by a radical naturalism and an intense dramatic use of light and shadow known as tenebrism, his art marked a clear departure from the idealized conventions of both mannerism and the High Renaissance. Caravaggio's life was as turbulent and intense as his paintings. He was a violent, provocative man notorious for brawling. Even while exiled and pursued, he kept working with the same fierce energy that defined him. His life and art were inseparable, each mirroring the other in their drama and intensity. Born in Milan as Michelangelo Merisi, his father worked as a household administrator and architect for the Marquess of Caravaggio, a town about 22 miles east of Milan. In 1576, his family moved to Caravaggio to escape the plague devastating Milan. It was in this town that he adopted the name Caravaggio. Caravaggio's mother had to raise all of her 5 children in poverty. She died in 1584, the same year he began his 4-year apprenticeship to the Milanese painter Simone Pietrezagno. He would also have become familiar with the art treasures of Milan, including Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. After fleeing Milan around 1592, he began his career working in the workshop of the successful painter Giuseppe Cesari. Early works from this period, including Boy Peeling a Fruit, Boy with a Basket of Fruit, and Young Sick Bacchus, already showed the intense physical realism that would become his trademark. His first masterpieces, The Fortune Teller and The Card Sharps, gained immediate popularity. The Card Sharps brought him the patronage of Cardinal Francesco Maria del Monte, a leading connoisseur in Rome. For del Monte, Caravaggio created intimate chamber pieces, like The Musicians and The Lute Player, noted by modern scholars for their subtle homoerotic undertones. Caravaggio's fame grew with his first religious paintings, including Penitent Magdalene and Judith beheading Holofernes, where he applied his signature realism to sacred subjects. Thanks to Del Monte's influence, he was commissioned to decorate the Contarelli Chapel. The resulting works, The Martyrdom of St. Matthew and Calling of St. Matthew, were an immediate sensation, establishing him as the most famous painter in Rome. While his dramatic intensity was admired, his unflinching realism shocked some viewers and was considered vulgar. Several of his works were even rejected. St. Matthew and the Angel was commissioned as the 3rd painting for the Contarelli Chapel. Although he had satisfied the patrons with 2 previous works, this 3rd painting was first rejected for portraying St. Matthew as a bald peasant with dirty legs. A more idealized version, the inspiration of St. Matthew was later accepted. Commissioned in 1601, Death of the Virgin was rejected by the Carmelite Fathers in 1606. Contemporaries claim this was because he used a well-known prostitute as the model for the Virgin Mary, or because of her bare legs. Painted for an altar in St. Peter's Basilica, Madonna and Child with St. Anne was removed after just 2 days due to its unorthodox portrayal of the Virgin Mary. There are a lot of reasons why the piece may have been removed, such as the nudity of the child Jesus and the Virgin Mary revealing too much of her breast. Caravaggio's life was full of violence, legal troubles, and unpredictable behavior. He gained a reputation for brawling, often roaming for weeks with a sword at his side and a servant in tow, ready to fight at any moment. His criminal record includes arrests for assaulting a nobleman, writing libelous poems about rival painter Giovanni Baglioni, carrying illegal weapons, insulting city guards, and even throwing a plate at a waiter. His life took a tragic turn on May 28, 1606, during festivities marking the anniversary of Pope Paul V's election. Caravaggio and his companion Onorio Longhi got into a violent confrontation with members of the Tomasoni family. The confrontation culminated in the death of Ranuccio Tomassoni, who was fatally wounded by Caravaggio. Within weeks, Caravaggio was sentenced to permanent exile and declared legally subject to a death penalty that anyone could carry out. Facing this extreme threat, Caravaggio fled to Naples, residing in a palace belonging to Costanza Colonna Sforza, in which his father had once worked. In Naples, beyond the reach of Roman authorities and under the protection of the Colonna family, he received a series of important church commissions, including Madonna of the Rosary and the 7 Works of Mercy. However, after only a few months, he left for Malta, the headquarters of the Knights Hospitaller. It seems he hoped that the support of Olof de Wignacourt, Grand Master of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, could help him get a pardon for the death of Tomassoni. Wignacourt was so impressed with Caravaggio that he made him an official painter of the order and even inducted him as a knight. Some of Caravaggio's major works from his Malta period include The Beheading of St. John the Baptist, his largest painting, and St. Jerome Writing, the only work he ever signed. By late August 1608, Caravaggio was arrested and imprisoned, likely following another brawl, this time with an aristocratic knight who was seriously wounded. He was held by the knights in Valletta, but managed to escape. By December, he had been formally expelled from the order, described in official records as a foul and rotten member. After leaving Malta, Caravaggio traveled to Sicily, where he reunited with his old friend Mario Minetti. Wherever they went, Caravaggio was welcomed with many well-paid commissions. During this period, he painted works such as The Burial of St. Lucy, The Raising of Lazarus, and The Adoration of the Shepherds. His style continued to evolve, with figures arranged like friezes against vast, empty, dark spaces. But alongside his artistic success, Caravaggio's behavior grew increasingly odd. Reports describe him sleeping fully armed, tearing up a painting over minor criticism, and mocking local artists. After only 9 months in Sicily, his erratic behavior grew more pronounced. Writers suggest that Caravaggio moved from city to city in fear, before ultimately deciding it was no longer safe and returning to Naples in late summer 1609. His earliest biographer claims he was being pursued by enemies there and believed the safest course was to stay under the protection of the Colonna family until he could obtain a papal pardon from Paul V. In October 1609, Caravaggio was attacked in a violent ambush, possibly by men connected to the knight he had injured in Malta or another faction within the order. His face was badly disfigured, and rumors quickly spread in Rome that he had died. Around this time, he painted Salome with the head of John the Baptist, using his own face for the severed head, and sent it to Wignacourt as a plea for forgiveness. He may also have painted David with the head of Goliath, again using his own features for the head. What would be his last work, The Martyrdom of St. Ursula, was completed shortly before he left Naples. Encouraged by positive news from Rome, he set out by boat in the summer of 1610 to receive what seemed like an imminent pardon. On 28 July 1610, a report sent to the Ducal Court of Urbino announced that Caravaggio had died. 3 days later, another message claimed he had died of fever while traveling from Naples to Rome. A poet friend later gave the 18th of July as the date of his death. However, the exact cause of his death has long been surrounded by rumors and remains a subject of historical debate. Some people claim that either the Tomassoni family or the Knights had him killed in revenge. For many years, historians believed he died of syphilis, while others suggested he may have fallen ill from fevers or other diseases caused by contaminated dairy. Caravaggio's impact on art was immediate and far-reaching. The installation of his St. Matthew paintings in the Contarelli Chapel set a new standard, inspiring a generation of followers known as the Caravaggisti, or Tenebrists, who adopted his dramatic use of light and realistic approach. The exact number of Caravaggio's paintings is uncertain, with estimates ranging from 40 to 80. Some works have been lost or destroyed, including St. Matthew and the Angel for the Contarelli Chapel, which was destroyed during the bombing of Dresden. Several paintings that were once misattributed have since been rediscovered. Judith beheading Holofernes was discovered in 2014 and later sold to J. Tomlinson Hill. The recently studied Ecce Homo is now undergoing restoration. Many of Caravaggio's famous works are held in major museums such as the Uffizi, the Louvre, and the Metropolitan Museum in New York, while others remain in private collections or are not publicly displayed. What do you think? Share your thoughts and favorite details in the comments below. And if you enjoyed exploring this story with us, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss any of our future videos.